Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video I just want to give you a quick tip on how to effectively fish an area if you're dealing with really tough windy conditions. Now, me and my buddy were out on the water and winds were forecasted to be anywhere from about 7 to 9 miles an hour, maxing out at about 10 miles an hour. However, when we got on the water, it was already white capping out there. Waves were rolling really good. The wind was ripping and it was blowing anywhere from 15 and gusting up to about 20. So it made it really tough to fish the area, even against the shoreline. We were up against the shoreline trying to get out of the wind, protected from the trees, but the wind was still blowing us around. It wasn't as choppy, but it was still blowing us around, making it difficult to fish. So when you are dealing with those types of conditions, what you want to do is use the wind. Don't work against it. You want to use the wind and go with the wind. So what we did, this isn't the exact area we fished, but I just want to use this area as an example to give you a visual of what we were doing. So we had a northeast to a north wind. So what you want to do is plan your trip around the direction of that wind. And essentially you just want to drift the area that you're going to fish. So what you want to do is kind of plan out the areas that you want to hit and use that drift to get you to those spots. So this area, as an example, if you had a north to a northwest wind, this would be an ideal spot to fish using that drift from the wind. So let's say you wanted to fish this entire shoreline and into this cove. What I would do is I would work my way up to the very north end when you have a north wind, and then use that wind to just drift you down. You want to turn your boat, your kayak, your paddleboard, whatever you're fishing on, you want to turn that vessel sideways so that creates more resistance in the water as it's drifting, so it doesn't drift as fast. And if you have a problem drifting too fast, what you want to do is get yourself a drift sock or a drift anchor or something that will slow your drift down. Because what can happen is you'll be casting, all of a sudden you'll see a school of fish and you'll be drifting too fast and you'll run them right over. So you don't want to do that. Make sure you have something that can slow down your drift just in case those winds end up being forecasted a lot stronger than they should be. So again, if I was drifting this area on a north to a northwest wind, I would want to start on the very north end so that all of my target spots are south of me. That way, as I'm drifting down, I can hit each of those spots. And then I can fish pretty much in between those spots, just casting around, see if we can hook into any fish. So ideally I would start at this point, drift down, kind of work the shoreline a little bit, hit these points, come down, maybe drift this around this little island, and then come back out, drift around this edge of the island, and then work my way in. Having a trolling motor or push pole just to kind of position yourself while you're moving definitely helps, because you don't just want to be completely at the mercy of the wind. You want to have a little bit of control, that way you can aim the boat or a kayak or paddleboard in the direction that you want to go. Because sometimes when you turn into the direction that you want to go, even though the wind's blowing in opposite direction, you'll still start drifting towards that area. So if I was way out here and I wanted to drift closer to this island, what I would do is turn the boat or kayak into this island and then just give a little bit of a push, and usually you'll start drifting into that island as opposed to drifting straight down. Now if you were pointed straight down this area, if your boat, kayak, or paddleboard was pointed straight down, you would just drift straight down super fast. So again, make sure you're turned sideways, and if you want to get to a specific area, you face into that area and you can slowly work your way that way. So on the trip that me and my buddy were on, it was very similar type of area. Again, this isn't the exact spot. It was very similar to this, and as we were drifting, we were kind of drifting from island to island, and it was actually in between the islands where I ended up catching a fish as we were drifting down. So as we were drifting, it was kind of an open flat, about 1.5 feet of water, just blind casting our lures around, and I actually caught a fish right out in the open in very choppy water. So using that drift, kind of just slowly drifting an area, working it very slow, can definitely help produce some fish. So let me go ahead and show you that fish that we caught as we were drifting an open flat. So that will wrap up this quick tip to kind of help you fish more effectively in tough windy conditions. Hopefully this can help you out. Also, this is a great example and a very small taste of the coaching that we give our private members in our super community. So if you don't know about that, definitely check it out at saltstrong.com. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.